Well, first off, it was amazing. As much as Dad is loved on stage and through his books and people who met him, he was even better at home. I mean, one of my friends said, your dad walks his talk, and he's a really good talker. And so he was kind and considerate, and he loved Mom like you wouldn't believe. And always had time for me. We played many, many, many hours of golf together. We took golf trips together. I know because I've seen so many of my friends go through, challenges in their family life. I didn't have that. Also, I don't know what another experience would be like. So it's just coming from my perspective. But he's the real deal. He never said anything on stage that he didn't back up and then some at home. There's favorite memories and there's meaningful memories. And one of them did have to do with golf. We were playing golf, and in those days, a lot of times he'd say, "Hey, you want to play?" And I'd go by his house and pick him up because he lived right next to the golf course. And we'd drive over there and we'd play and have fun. And, in my mind at that time, he was like the best dad who ever lived, right? So we come home, I drop him off, I get out, I take his bag into the garage, and I'm saying goodbye to him. And he says, "Wait a second, son." So I turn around and I look him in the eye, and he says, "I need to tell you something." And he put his hands on my shoulder and he said, "Son, I don't know if I've told you enough that I love you and I'm proud of you." And it just hit like the intentionality of that. And that just shows that we don't have to have special circumstances or events or memorable places to have a life-changing conversation. It just needs to be intentional. He had prepared 3 hours every day and then 3 hours for that specific talk before he gave it. So that means he was putting the right information in his mind that whole time. And then he gave the talk. Well, when you speak, guess who else hears it besides the audience? The speaker. And then he would get feedback before he left because people would want autographs and telling, about the talk and about how they read his book. Isn't that cool? We can all do that in our own way. We can study to make somebody else better. That builds us. We can share it with somebody. That builds us. And then when they give us feedback about the success they had with it, that builds us too. That's what I understood Dad's secret. He wasn't being drained. He was being filled up by what he did. No matter what career we have, if we have a career and it has to do with things and products and, technical things, then it's draining. But if we realize that our career is really about the relationships that we have inside that career, those we work with and those we serve, all of a sudden it can be filling up because we realize our purpose is to fill them up. And we can't help but get filled up in the process of filling them up. The legacy lives on. I mean, let's face it, we are in a better position today than ever to reach the world. And so if we know that the principles that Dad taught and his philosophies work, then we have a bigger opportunity than we've ever had. I love it because it's like I'm finding brothers and sisters I didn't know I had. I mean, that's the coolest part. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. The motive needs to be to help other people be, do, and have more than they thought possible. And Dad kind of coined the be, do, and have philosophy. You got to be before you can do, or you got to do before you can have. And our culture is so wrapped up into the do and the have, right? I want to have the car. I want to have the house. I want to have the money. I want to, I want to do this cool job. I want the applause. I want the big stage. That's the doing. And Dad always said, no, that's good. But what you want to focus on first is being the right kind of person. And when you're the right kind of person first, and then you do the right things, eventually you'll have all that life has to offer. So maintain and develop and work on your integrity every day. And that's the difference. That was Dad's sustainability.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. And to stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast and on Twitter at Catalyst_Action. And thanks for listening.